Pacinthe Mattar is an Asper Fellow with over a decade of experience in journalism. After 10 years of working for the CBC, she was forced to leave the network over a disagreement on objectivity.
I left the CBC because they thought I was biased, right? That's what kind of ended my career there. That's what made me write the Walrus article in the summer of 2020.
Her article garnered a National Magazine Award and led to her recruitment as a Nieman Fellow at Harvard University, where she also guest lectured on the topic of objectivity.
Could you define what objectivity is and also the role maybe it's meant to play in journalism?
I think over the years we've lost our way in terms of what objectivity is supposed to mean for journalism. It is often wielded as a personal fault of journalists, that person is not objective, but objectivity as it should be applied was supposed to be about an objectivity of method and making sure that we have a discipline by which we do journalism. It was never supposed to be that we ourselves are objective people, because I think we all know so instinctively that that is not possible. I think this topic has been so misunderstood, and I think as journalists we've kind of lost our way as a result of that.
In your view, do you think that it is still crucial to journalism?
Objectivity, as it's been misapplied, I want to be clear, is not what we should be going for. If our media is basically flattening something into a way where it can't be properly understood, I think it's a real threat to democracy and overall for ideals like peace and justice. As we speak right now, there are over 3,000 Palestinian people who've been killed. Over 1,000 Israelis have been killed or taken hostage by Hamas. I think what's happening right now is one of the clearest examples of how objectivity has been misapplied, because instead of actually trying to examine the power differential, power dynamics, the asymmetry of this conflict or this occupation, mainstream media organizations are so obsessed with just making everything look equal. But if you try to understand something as equal that is fundamentally unequal, we will not understand it properly. And I think that's very dangerous at a time like this.
Some blame these flattened narratives for perpetuating hate crimes like the murder of a 6-year-old Palestinian boy who was stabbed 26 times in his Illinois home. The side often overlooked are the citizens who have no say in the war, their uprooted livelihoods, and lost families.
Maybe morality should be our primary objective instead of objectivity. If objectivity is done right, wouldn't it serve morality?
Wesley Lowery has talked about, we should be striving for moral clarity. He's been clear to say, that's not a replacement for objectivity.
Pacinthe recently presented alongside Wesley Lowery at Western University on the topic of objectivity. She says she's heavily inspired by Lowery's analysis.
He wrote this really great piece in April in the Columbia Journalism Review called A Test of the News, in which he revisits this question on objectivity.
The article outlines 6 ways of living our values as journalists.
That's something I loved about your conversation with Wesley, is the fact that we're focusing too much on the person's bias as opposed to the actual work in journalism, and it is separate.
And that's the objectivity that I'm trying to get rid of. It's only ever leveled at people who are outside of that dominant norm, right? You're biased, but they're not biased. And so it's not useful. I think truth is important, facts are important, and we have to be courageous in naming those facts. And I think often journalism is caught up in this idea of trying to be polite or not upsetting people in power by calling them liars, by calling their actions racist. It's like, oh, well, we can't really say that. That's not objective. I think that's where we lose our way with the objectivity thing.
Pacinthe emphasizes that there are actionable steps that serve the core intention of objectivity.
Go after facts, go after the truth, verify, go after accuracy, go after accountability, go after nuance, go after context, and with those things on your side, make sure your journalism is sound, that it's verifiable and fact-checked and accurate and representative. But people will see you as biased if they want to, no matter what you do.